Oh, there's nothing like going for a nice cruise down the road. Wind blowing around, just out enjoying yourself. But like everything else, a road such as this, which just keeps on going, keeps you wanting to go, comes to a spot where we all know that a lot of accidents and a lot of things occur, and that is an intersection. Now, I'm going to take a few moments and explain some of the best intersections that I like, and that is the roundabout or the traffic circle. Yes, some people hate them, but I like them simply because it causes people to have to slow down and look. And it also gives an opportunity to take a good look at what's going on around you. And if you want more information on traffic circles and roundabout, there's a link right off to the side that you can try. And as you can see with this particular roundabout, there's more than one lane. And sometimes you may have to stop, but for most of it, it's a flow and go. And you just keep going around through and then exit and away you go. So let's take a look at the roundabout from the perspective of where you should be looking with your eyes. And here entering into a roundabout, taking a look off to the side, and yes, sometimes you almost got to basically come to a stop, taking a look, check over your shoulder, back, make sure everything's okay, and looking around and around and around. Remember, bike goes where you look. Let's glance over at an entrance, and as we come out, we're going to make sure nobody's in our lane. In a case like this, you have a four-way stop, even though it doesn't tell you it's an all-way or four-way. But let's take a look at this car right now with the red finger pointing at it. There's no signal light, so the assumption is it'll be going straight. At an intersection like this, never assume signal lights seem to be an option with some people. Now here we are at a busy intersection on a main highway, where really you have to watch and see what kind of a light you're going to get, but watch the other cars coming across the side. You know, a roundabout would have really worked well in that particular case. So here we are out in the country, and you notice these white bars, and they're getting closer as the intersection gets closer. This is a good idea. It lets you know people are ahead that there's an intersection. But look at this intersection. There's large stop signs, there's a flashing red light, white painted stop bar, but it's missing. Why is it missing? This particular intersection, by the way, has had many crashes, and that's one of the changes of putting in an all-way stop in this particular place. So what we're going to do is scan and plan. You're going to look and listen at every intersection, regardless of where it is, how well it's lighted, how well it's painted before you get there. Now, one thing about coming to an intersection, you can never look enough. You have to scan and plan, and you'll notice how many times I turn around and look, and I look with both eyes. I don't just glance. I make sure that everything's clear, and then when I get out, I accelerate as quickly as I possibly can to highway speeds to make sure nobody is coming in behind me. So here we are coming into another stop at an intersection, and again, note, mirror checks before stopping, and that's done on both sides. Once you're there, check again. Make sure everything's okay. Scan and plan. What's going to happen here? This is called situational awareness. You want to know what's going on around you before you have to make any decisions. In this particular case, it's all been done. We take a look. We look again. We want to make sure that this car is not trying to come out into my lane as I ride along. Now, here's another tip for you. Here we are, we're pulling in, and we have a large truck in front of us that's blocking a lot of the highway. So what I'm going to do is stay back far enough so that I can see around that particular vehicle. And by doing this, I also have an exit plan. If somebody tries to come in behind me and hit me, I have room to get around this truck and make sure that I don't get hit. In this particular case, we're on a two-lane highway. We're going to come to an intersection, looking way ahead, taking a look, scanning, and I'm planning right now. And part of my plan is to get into a blocking position so that I'm trying to keep anybody in my lane from trying to cross over. So on this particular one, on the left-hand lane, I'm blocking it from the right track. Conversely, here I am on the right-hand side, I am blocking it from the left-hand track, which is basically the dominant side that we normally ride in. I'm scanning, I'm planning, I'm looking at all the cars, and I'm looking at all those construction barrels down there trying to figure out what's going on and what do I have to look for. So I don't come out very fast, I come out at a moderate speed. At this particular intersection, we have been given a left-hand turn, but look on the road as we come up. Look at all the debris, and a lot of that is oil, which means I'm going to have to slow down as I come in there. I don't want to slide. So look for debris as you're coming into your lane as well. Make sure that where you park yourself is in a place that it's safe to do so. Now let's take a look at this rider. They're doing a great job. They're in the lane they should be in. And we know that we're going to have a stop ahead because we just got the stop ahead sign. Oh, and there are those white bars. And as they get closer, we know we are getting closer to the stop. But you know, we're slowing down. And in the lane position I'm in, I know she's slowing down. But the vehicles behind us do not. They are actually closing in on us. And one of the reasons, they didn't put their stoplight on, they didn't put the brake light on until almost at the end. So here's a little hint for you. As you're coming in, and if you're using engine braking, put some brake light on as well. Let the people behind you know that you're going to come to a stop or that you are slowing down. That way they're not going to try and run you over. Now, I want to show you a very dangerous intersection. People may not say it's dangerous, but let's take a good look here. This particular intersection is wide enough to have two cars side by side. But you notice there's no other lane markings here. There's just the one, and that's where the yellow bar is. And what usually happens here with the locals is if you're in the left-hand side, you will go to the left. If you're in the right-hand side of that lane, you'll either go straight to the right. So let's take another look at this and never assume what's going to go on at any intersection. First of all, we're going to scan and we're going to plan. And part of that plan included looking at the vehicle that we're trying to pull out. The second part of this is, okay, who's going where? I'm assuming that the car in front is going to go straight and that perhaps the van on the left-hand side is going to go left. But watch what happens. Be prepared and don't assume. As it happened, that vehicle was ready to go straight. The only indication I had it might go straight was the fact it didn't have a left turning signal light on. So be prepared, and people who are not local might go and do something else. Now here we are in a left-hand lane, and I want to show you that you should be prepared for emergency vehicles at any intersection at any time. So now we're pretty well to the point where most of us are stopped. We're taking a look. I'm scanning around. I'm looking. I'm also listening. And oh, look way off in the distance. You can see the lights of an emergency vehicle coming at us. But wait a second. What's going on here? This red car, it's unaware, and although you can't really see it, that's because the driver never looked other than the direction they were going, and they had headphones on. They didn't hear it, and they didn't see it. But you notice everybody else did. And by the way, I was yelling at her and trying to get her attention, and didn't even look at me. You see a reoccurring theme here as we come up to this intersection of scan and plan. And let's take a look around us. Let's see, we have a truck here with an oversized ladder. How well is it tied down? Any objects out of the back? Anything going to fall out? And look at the side panel with objects just about ready to fall out. So now we know that we got to be very careful when we take off with this particular vehicle beside us. And as it stands right now, I can't get their attention, even though I'm trying to look at their mirror to see, can you see me in your mirror? And although you can't see it, I'm waving at them, but they don't respond to it. And maybe that's part of the reason that the driver's trying to scan around. So as we come through here, I've made a scan and plan right now. I have an exit strategy that if anything falls out, I'm heading to that bus lane on the right-hand side. So as we come up along the side here, I'm trying to get the person's attention that the side of his truck is open and the objects are ready to fall out, and then I'm out of there. And the idea is to get ahead of any incident that may occur. So now, here's something else at an intersection to watch for. Green paint. And I think these are excellent for bikers, but they're terrible for motorcyclists. And part of the reason for that is it's paint. And it gets slippery, especially when it's wet. and you have to be very careful on that green paint, and you're trying to keep your bike in as much of an upright position as you possibly can. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at it, and when you're slowing down coming around, try not to break in that paint, and if it's wet, bring your bike as upright as possible to make the turn. And in some cases, never assume where a road is going to go. As we're going through and loving the turns, all of a sudden, expect the unexpected. There's a stop hidden around a corner, and you can't see this stop sign until you're almost on top of it. So be prepared at any particular time. Now we're coming into a beautiful little town in Ontario. It's called Merrickville, and Merrickville is visited by all kinds of people throughout the year. Now, this stop area here is kind of strange, and you notice we have 3 different stop signs marked out in the red. But look, in the one with the green, that's not a stop. This is a 3-way stop with one direction only, continues. Now, why they do that, I'm not quite sure, but you as a rider, as you come to an intersection, as part of your scan and plan, you're looking to see, is this an all-way stop? Is it controlled? What's the traffic patterns? Where is everybody going? What are they doing? Thanks for watching, and always remember, ride safe, ride smart, ride skilled. This is 4Shore Rider. Take care and enjoy the ride.